What if the person you trusted most was living a double life right under your roof, and the only clue was a phone that wasn't supposed to be there? Before I tell you how one video call shattered my entire world and led me to the most heartbreaking discovery followed by a miracle I never saw coming, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this story will make you question everything you think you know about the people closest to you, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. #story. I had a video call with my husband and saw my sister's phone on my pillow. The next day, I had a video call with my husband and saw my sister's phone on my pillow, and the next day my entire life would never be the same, because what started as a simple observation during a late-night conversation turned into a nightmare that would test every ounce of strength I had left in my shattered heart. But I am getting ahead of myself, so let me take you back to that Tuesday evening when everything was still normal, or at least what I thought was normal, because looking back now I realize nothing had been normal for months and I was just too blind to see it. Or maybe I didn't want to see it, because sometimes the truth is so painful that our minds protect us by keeping us in blissful ignorance until the moment we can no longer ignore what's right in front of our faces. And for me, that moment came at exactly 11:43 p.m. on a Tuesday night when Marcus called me from his business trip in Seattle, and I was lying in bed exhausted from another long day of managing the household and taking care of our 3-year-old daughter Emma, while also trying to be supportive of my younger sister Rachel, who had moved in with us 6 months ago, after her devastating divorce left her emotionally broken and financially struggling, and I had welcomed her with open arms, because that's what family does, right? And Marcus had been so understanding, so generous, offering her our guest room, telling her to take all the time she needed to get back on her feet, and Rachel had been grateful, or at least she seemed grateful, with her tear-filled thank yous and her promises that she would find a job soon and move out as quickly as possible. But 6 months had turned into what felt like a permanent arrangement, and I didn't mind, because having her around actually helped, especially when Marcus traveled for work, which had been happening more frequently over the past year. His tech consulting company was expanding and he was constantly flying to different cities meeting clients, closing deals, and I was proud of him, so proud of how hard he worked to provide for our family, even though it meant lonely nights and single parenting and relying on my sister to help with Emma during the day while I managed my freelance graphic design work from home. And on that particular Tuesday, Marcus had been gone for 4 days already and wasn't due back until Friday, and I missed him terribly, missed his laugh, missed his warmth, missed the way he would wrap his arms around me from behind while I was cooking dinner and whisper silly jokes in my ear. And when my phone rang that night and I saw his face on the screen, my heart lifted the way it always did, because even after 7 years of marriage I still got butterflies when I saw him, and I answered immediately, propping my phone against the lamp on my nightstand so I could lie back against my pillows and talk to him hands-free. And he looked tired, his tie loosened, his hair slightly messy in that way that made him look even more handsome, and we talked about our days, the usual mundane details that couples share, and he told me about his meetings, and I told him about Emma's new obsession with drawing dinosaurs and how Rachel had helped me reorganize the kitchen pantry, and everything was so normal, so comfortable, until I shifted position on the bed and noticed something in the corner of the video frame, something that made my blood run cold, because there on my pillow right next to where my head had been resting just moments before was a phone, and not just any phone, but Rachel's phone, with its distinctive rose gold case covered in little sunflower stickers that she had carefully applied when she first bought it. And I froze, my mind racing, trying to make sense of what I was seeing, because Rachel's phone was on my pillow in my bedroom on my bed, and I hadn't been in the guest room. I had been in my own room the entire evening after putting Emma to bed, and Rachel had said she was going out to meet an old friend for coffee around 8 p.m. And she had left wearing her favorite blue dress, the one that hugged her curves and made her look stunning, and she had seemed excited, almost giddy, when she left, and I had thought nothing of it, because I was happy she was finally starting to socialize again after months of depression and isolation following her divorce. But now her phone was here in my room, and I hadn't brought it there, and the timestamp on Marcus's video call showed that he was calling from his hotel room, or at least that's what the background suggested, with its generic hotel art and beige walls. And I felt something twist in my gut, something dark and suspicious that I immediately tried to push away, because what was I even thinking? But I couldn't stop staring at that phone, and Marcus noticed the change in my expression, and he asked if I was okay. And I heard myself saying yes, even though I wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. And I made some excuse about being tired, and we said our goodbyes and I love yous, and after we hung up I just sat there staring at Rachel's phone on my pillow, and my hands were shaking as I reached for it, and I T know what possessed me to unlock it because I'm not the kind of person who invades privacy. V always believed in trust and boundaries, but something primal and terrified was taking over. And I knew her passcode because she had told me once when she needed me to check a message while she was driving, and my fingers moved almost automatically, entering the numbers 1128, her wedding anniversary date that she had never bothered to change even after the divorce, and the phone unlocked and I opened her messages, and what I saw there made my entire world tilt on its axis because there were messages between Rachel and someone saved under the name and the messages were intimate, devastatingly intimate, with words that lovers use with each other and plans to meet, and expressions of longing and desire. And I scrolled up with my heart hammering so hard I thought it might break through my chest, and I saw messages dating back months and months, all the way to last November, almost a full year of conversations, and the pieces started clicking together in my mind with horrible clarity because Marcus's business trips had increased dramatically starting last November. And Rachel had moved in with us in April, claiming she needed family support after her divorce. But what if that was the real reason? What if she had moved in to be closer to him? And I felt bile rise in my throat as I continued reading message after message that painted a picture I didn't want to see, couldn't bear to see, but couldn't look away from either. And then I saw it, a message from just 2 hours ago from Rachel to M saying, "I'm coming over now." I told her I was meeting a friend, give me 20 minutes. And M had responded, "Room 847, I've been waiting all day to see you." And the hotel name was right there, the Cascadia Grand in Seattle, the same hotel where Marcus was staying, and I felt the room spin around me, felt my lungs forget how to work, felt everything I had believed about my life crumble into dust because my husband was having an affair with my sister, my baby sister, who I had protected and loved and welcomed into my home. And they had been betraying me for almost a year right under my nose while I smiled and cooked family dinners and tucked Emma into bed at night, believing I had a marriage and a sister who loved me. And I must have made some kind of sound, some kind of wounded animal noise, because suddenly Emma was standing in my doorway, rubbing her sleepy eyes, asking, "Mommy, why are you crying?" And I hadn't even realized I was crying, but my face was wet with tears, and I pulled myself together just enough to get up and scoop her into my arms and carry her back to her room and tuck her in and sing her back to sleep, even though my voice kept breaking and my heart was shattering into a million pieces. And after she was asleep, I went back to my room and I looked at that phone again, hoping I had imagined it all, hoping it was some kind of mistake, but it was all still there, every message, every betrayal, every lie. And I did something then that I am not proud of, but I was desperate and broken and I needed to know everything. So I went through more of her phone and I found photos that made me want to throw up, photos of them together, intimate moments, stolen kisses, hotel rooms, and I found emails, 2 emails discussing plans and talking about how hard it was to hide their feelings and how they wished they could be together openly. And Rachel had written, "I know she's your wife and I know I'm terrible, but I can help how I feel about you. I think I've loved you since the day I met you at your wedding." And Marcus had responded, "We'll figure something out, I promise, we just need more time to plan everything carefully." And I realized with dawning horror that they weren't just having an affair, they were planning to be together permanently, which meant they were planning to destroy my life, to take Emma's father away, to blow up everything I had built. And I spent that entire night sitting on my bedroom floor with Rachel's phone in my hands, reading every word, trying to understand how this had happened. When had it started? Was it really at our wedding? Had my sister been in love with my husband for 7 years? Had every smile, every hug, every family dinner been a lie? And the next morning, Emma to have that dream, for me to arrive at that motel in time. And I believe maybe there are forces beyond our understanding that guide us toward healing even when we can't see the path, and maybe the real miracle was just that Rachel survived, but that we all did, that we found ways to live with the consequences of our choices and grow from them and become more human, more humble, more aware of our own capacity for both darkness and light. And while my story didn't have the ending I once dreamed of, it gave me something perhaps more valuable. It gave me the truth about who I am when everything is stripped away. And what I discovered is that I am stronger than I ever knew, strong enough to save someone who hurt me, strong enough to forgive without forgetting, strong enough to build a new life from the ashes of the old one. And that strength, that resilience, that choice to keep loving even when love has wounded you, that's the real miracle in this story, not the ghostly visitation or the last-minute rescue, but the daily decision to choose healing over hatred, growth over stagnation, and peace over the hollow satisfaction of revenge. And so when people ask me how I survived the worst betrayal imaginable, I tell them that I almost didn't, that there were days I didn't want to, but that somewhere in the darkest moment a voice, whether from beyond or from deep within, reminded me that my story was T over yet that Emma needed me, that I needed me, and that sometimes the only way out is through, and you have to walk through the fire to become the phoenix. And now standing on the other side, I can finally see that everything, even the most painful betrayals, can become teachers if we willing to learn, and that the sister who broke my heart and the husband who betrayed my trust were also the catalyst that forced me to discover who I really was beneath all the roles I had been playing. And in the end, maybe that was the gift wrapped in the most terrible packaging. And maybe that's what Catherine, if it really was her, wanted Emma to understand that night, that love is simple and people are complicated, and forgiveness is the key that unlocks the prison we build around our own hearts. And so I carry on building my life one day at a time with Emma by my side, and the knowledge that I survived something I never thought I would, and that survival has made me someone I'm actually proud to be, someone who understands that strength and compassion aren't opposites but partners, and that the most powerful thing you can do when someone breaks you is to put yourself back together in a shape that's even more beautiful than before, because you chose every piece deliberately this time, and no one can ever take that power away from you again.